Hello guys, and we're here today with another very awesome video. We're here today with a DDD deck profile because I feel this is a really good deck, specifically post Bosch, that can stand up to Pepe just through a variety of reasons. And now I would be using some of the OCG cards, but we don't know which ones will come out. We don't know those older ones like the Fusion, the Synchro, if they will come out. There are some newer ones that we might get because we also got some newer cards in this set that the OCG also got, so we really don't know what cards we're going to be getting. So let's just go right into the deck profile. We're running one Galley because he's nothing more than fodder. Once the new support comes out, definitely take him out of your deck. He doesn't really help all that much, and even Pendulum Summoning isn't really that useful. CEO, I don't know why I call him CEO. He's Oblivion King of Astragon. That's not even his OCG name, it's COO. Yeah, he's really good because if he's a Pendulum and you spell summon, he can spell summon one from your graveyard. And if he's normal or spell summoned, you can target another Triple D monster, including himself, and you can then spell summon that target. And you can tribute another Double D monster, and you can banish one monster your opponent controls. Does target though. To Leonidas, because he doesn't really do much other than he's very easily summonable, but he's just a big level 7. That's it. Nothing else. But for me, really useful, helps with making the rank 8 plays, or the only way to make a rank 4 play in this deck is to use him, change another DD monster from 1 to 8, and then you can make that level, that rank monster. So it's very useful, and also once we get the tuner, he'll also be even more useful with making different synchro monsters, but you can only spell summon DD monsters when you use his effect for the rest of the turn. So you can spell summon Big Eye first, and then use his effect. And then Swirl Slime, the heart of the deck, very important. He will fusion summon using monsters in your hand, and so that's very useful. And you can banish him from your graveyard to summon out a DD monster from your hand. So that's very useful with him, because if you can fusion summon with Oblivion King, and then if you have another one or you search another one with Gate during your next turn, you can then summon him out, and then you go for the rank 8 play, which is really strong play. Making that rank 8 is really good. Necro Slime, he can go down to 2, especially once the new support comes out, but right now he's decent at 3 because you have nothing better. If he's in your graveyard, you can banish another Double D or Triple D monster and fusion summon a DD monster, so, Triple D fusion monster. So he's very useful with making that play. And if you use Swirl Slime and Necro Slime from your hand using Swirl Slime's effect, you can then banish Necro Slime and Swirl Slime to make another Oracle Dark. And then you have 2 level 7, so that's a free rank 7 play if you have nothing better to do. Kepler is he's very important to the deck. He can get you anything you need. He can get you the Dark Contract at the gate, and he can get you pretty much any of your Dark Contract cards. So in effect, he can search out any of the monsters as long as both searches go off. And then Lower Darkness, just for more draw power. 1/1 can spell summon Kepler, who gets his effect when he's spell summoned as well. But you cannot pendulum summon him because he's level 1. If you could pendulum summon him, then pendulum summoning would actually be way better in this deck. 3 upstarts for more consistency and life control, because as you can tell, I am running Chicken Game in this deck. Dark Contract with the gate. All of the Dark Contract cards will inflict 1,000 damage to you during your standby phase, and that's one reason why I'm running Chicken Game, so I don't take the damage. But this one will allow you to, during your main phase, add a DD monster from your deck to hand. Only can do that once per turn, but still very useful. This one will allow you to fusion summon using monsters from your hand, field, or banishing them from the graveyard. A lot of people only run 1 or 2 of this, but I do like to side out one. But there's just literally nothing better to put in the deck right now for the TCG, because we just don't have those cards, and I'd rather not run 1. I saw one deck profile that was only running 1, and there was the one, you can only make this guy with this, you cannot make him with Swirl Slime. And so running 2, it just feel off, because if it gets destroyed, or if I have to use it for Dark Contract with the Witch, I want to be able to see it. So it's still very useful. Siding one out is okay. I like to have designated cards that I can side out in different matchups. Like Upstart, I always side out Upstart, but I like to main Upstart because, well, it's consistency. And then Chicken Game. Chicken Game is very interesting in this deck, because normally I put Chicken Game in either really fast decks such as Exodia, such as Quasar, or in really slow decks such as my Trap Trick, so that way I can draw 2 trap cards and then stop their play, pretty much. This is not a fast, this is not a slow, this is a pretty average face deck, but there are multiple reasons. One, so I don't kill myself. Sometimes it's just nice to know, oh, I may take 1,000 damage, but I'm not going to take all 3,000 damage. So that's very, very useful. And then just being an extra card every turn, just having Dark Contract with the Gate and Chicken Game Out, that's 3 cards you get a draw during your turn. You get your normal draw, you get a Surge, so technically you only draw 2 cards, and then you get another draw, so you're getting 3 cards while your opponent's only getting 2. I feel that's very, very fair trade. You're just able to do so much with just having Dark Contract with the Gate and Chicken Game Out, because just that extra 3 cards every turn is very, very useful. And now onto the trap cards, and the trap cards is what really, I feel, make this deck actually very competitive. As you can tell in our side deck, we're running a lot of different trap cards. So let's just go and we're running the Bottomless, and then we're running each of the Virus cards. Now, Crush card isn't that good against Cosmos, because then they can send 3 of their ships, and then their ships will get effects because they're being destroyed, which is kind of silly. But yeah, side this card out against Cosmos. But definitely Deck Devastating Virus will help against Cosmos, or just against Pepe, because it will get rid of those Pendulum monsters from their hand to the graveyard with those with 1500 or less attack. And Eradicator will get rid of cards in the Pendulum Zone if you call spells, or if your opponent is playing Magi Spectres and you call a whole bunch of traps and they have a whole bunch set. You can get rid of a huge amount of back row, so that's very, very useful. But more than likely, you're going to want to call spells, thus being able to get rid of your opponent's pendulums, very, very good. And just the whatnot, because there are other ways to get around traps. Fiend Griefing just is a foolish burial that can get rid of a damage juggle, get rid of a trick clown, so it's very, very useful. Just flip this, send a slime, and then, or maybe send a Ragnarok, and then set up for another turn, another play next turn while your opponent is at a disadvantage because they just lost a trick clown or whatnot. Vanities, we are running Vanities in this deck. It doesn't really work well against pendulums, but then again, because pendulums are inherent summons. But with Trick Clown and with Plush Fire and all those cards that special summon, it's still very useful, and you can combo it off with this card. This card is amazing, especially post-Bosch. It's gonna be even better. Because right now people are running normal trap cards, they're all running continuous trap cards, they can chain to this card. But after Bosch, people may be running Wiretap, but it will be a lot of counter traps because of that one Fairy Pendulum that's coming out. So you can flip this up during your standby phase, activate it, and no, if it's already face up, I don't think they can chain Wiretap to it. So you just activate this during your standby phase, turn off all their traps, and they can't do anything. So which is very, very useful. And you can combo it with Vanities. Oh, during your turn, turn on Vanities, and then during your turn, it's off. You turn Vanities off by just negating it. So it's just extremely useful, just being able to stop your opponent really easily. And then Dark Contract with the Witch will allow you to pop your opponent's pendulums, or if you are afraid of their trap cards, pop their trap cards or their monsters. It's just very useful. That's a DD or Dark Contract card. And you're doing your opponent's turn, all of your Fiend monsters gain 1000 attack. And then Warning is the final trap. Post-Bosch, we will probably be running 1 Twin Twister, because I mean this takes care of back row pretty easily and it's searchable. Whether if you have Kepler or Dark Contract with the Gate, you can get to either one. If you have Kepler, you can get to that. If you have Dark Contract with the Gate, you can get to Kepler and then turret. So it's pretty easy. So back row isn't a problem. Maybe 2 Twin Twisters, maybe. Solemn Notice, I'm really not sure in this deck because I don't want to spend 5,000 life and then lose next turn because, well, sorry, I don't have enough life points to continue living. This is why I'm running Chicken Game in the deck, just so that way I can do stuff like that. But unfortunately, 2 I feel would be fair. Running 3, even with gaining life, I just wouldn't want to risk it. So let's go into the extra deck. There is a lot of room in the extra deck, a lot of stuff you could do. We're running 3 Wave Kings. He can be put down to Wave Oblivion King. He can be put down to 2 or 1, but he's very useful. He's 32, runs over Cosmos real easily, and if he attacks and there's another monster that isn't the attacking monster on the field, you can bounce a DD or Dark Contract card to target one. It doesn't even target, so it's really good against Magi Spectres. So you target your DD or your Dark Contract card, bounce it to the hand, and then equip it to him, and he's pretty much relinquished. He gains the attack. Very useful. Any damage I would inflict would be inflicted to you. Any effect damage that would be inflicted to you, you gain that much life points instead. Very, very useful. With your Dark Contract cards, it prevents you from taking damage, and it helps out with Chicken Game. Oh, I'm gaining 2,000 during my turn, and then I can spend 1,000 else. So you may not be able to inflict damage to your opponent because your opponent has less life, but you're gaining a whole bunch of draw, and you're not really going minus because If your opponent has less life points than you, that's good. And if you have a lot of life points, that's good, even with Chicken Game out. And then Duodon King, 2 is fair. 2 is definitely useful. If your opponent cannot Warning him, Notice him, Grand Horn him, Black Horn him, if they cannot do anything, then all face down cards cannot be activated. All face up cards are negated, including him. Any monsters equipped to him will be sent to the graveyard. So it's very useful. And during either player's turn, you can detach 1 XYZ material and Heavy Storm the field. So that is what makes him awesome. You Heavy Storm it during your turn, and then during your opponent's turn, you can just do it again. The only times I don't do that is if I have Dark Contract with the Arrows, because then it does it for me. There's really no need to use Duodon if I have this. Even with Notice out, I can just, during my opponent's turn, activate this once I resolve, use this once I set up the pendulum, and then just blow up the entire field. Felgrand, this guy can negate. It's mandatory, you have to activate it, so it's easily baitable, but you can negate a monster effect or a spell trap card, so that's really useful. For rank 7s, we're running Red Eye's Flare, 2 Draco Sacks, and 1 Big Eye, and then for our 1 rank 4, we're not running the one you can rank up onto him, because I really don't like it, but he's actually has a good effect, great against Cosmos, detach an XYZ material at the end of the end of battle phase, plus some monsters that were destroyed this turn as possible, so that's very, very useful. Just very useful, just getting back your monsters. And if you send to graveyard, you can add a Dark Contract card from your deck to your hand, so that's very useful. And if you summon out Oracle King, then during your next standby phase, you will gain 2,000. If not, then you would take 2,000 damage. So that is very, very useful. And now into the side deck. As you can see here, I'm running a variety of interesting cards. Triple Maxi against Pepe, because they can just go off amazingly. 3 Wavering Eyes, because this deck is Pendulums, and using this card as a stun card is just absolutely amazing. It can either bait out their Wavering Eyes, make it so they don't get to go off with their combo, or just getting rid of their stuff and you getting to go plus is very, very useful. Time Space is for Cosmos more than it is for Pendulums, because I don't want to give up 5,000 life in a deck that inflicts damage. Mind Crush, this can go up against anything pretty much. Being Griefing, I'm thinking of taking out, but it's still definitely very useful. And then these are the 2 cards that I feel are what makes this deck just actually playable. Right now, with people playing Magicians, it's not that good because people will just use Dragon Pit and pop it. But once people start running Guyu Turtle, once people start running Monkey aboard, and they stop running the Magicians, these cards are going to be really alive. They could use Twin Twister to get rid of it. Yeah, there's nothing you can do about that. But if your opponent goes for a Pendulum Summon, and you flip one or both of these cards face up, then it's just amazing. I mean, a lot of their monsters are spellcasters, so Rivalry doesn't do a lot, but I mean, they do run the Draco Slayers, which are dragons. They do have other monsters of other types, so that is definitely useful. And then Gozen Match, they have fire, they have light, they have wind, they have all that different stuff, so flipping this face up is just like, okay, call an attribute, and you cannot summon any of those. And they are not considered destroyed, those that are sent to, even if they're sent to the Pendulum Zone, so they will not get Plush Fire's effect, and it's just very, very useful. It can really put them in a bad position where they just cannot play Yu-Gi-Oh! At that point. Oh, you're activating Plush Fire and you control a Joker? Skullcrobat Joker? Okay, I'm just gonna flip Gozen Match face up. Summon out a Dark one, will you? There isn't. So it's just very, very useful. It can really hurt your opponent and just make it hard to play, even if they can get rid of it really quickly. And this is it for the deck there. Yep, side deck, main deck, extra deck. This is the entire deck. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Do go ahead and tell me what you think of this deck. Tell me what you think of Chicken Gaming in your deck. Do you think DDs will actually stand a chance? I do have this deck in real life. Definitely don't have the extra deck. I don't even have 3 of these guys, and I should. But I'm really enjoying this deck. It's kind of like an investment to me because I'm thinking it's going to become better, and then I can get rid of the deck for Pepe. That's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe.